Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Hope everybody's doing well. Hopefully your morning was good. I do apologize about my power going out. I guess there's really not much I can do about that, but we had a good day nonetheless. So that was awesome. Um, so we had a good trade with the bankers close, Euro franc longs pulled out a win, which is great. And we've got some other really cool stuff going on too. So, but without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into what we have today. Today we're going to talk about chart templates and workspaces, how to kind of lay out your charts. I think some of you have actually been to my office here at my house where I have kind of my workspace all set up. I've got several monitors for different things that I watch. I also trade stocks, so I've got a watch list on stocks, a scanner that I use. And Forex, I got my screens for that, my FTMO account. I've got some other accounts that I trade, and then obviously I, do a couple of things with my business, and so I have screens and things like that allocated to that, which is kind of nice. So, but most importantly, I want to help you guys set up your charts in a way that's easy to use so that when you come into the markets every morning or every night, whenever you trade, you can hop in there with confidence and kind of know what everything does. Because there's a lot of buttons, especially if you're newer to trading, it can be kind of confusing, hey, am I touching the right thing? Or am I going to break something, right? Like I totally know what that feels like. I had those same anxieties when I was new to trading. And so I want to help you guys go through that. So before we go ahead and jump into anything that we're going to talk about today, just quickly, I need to go over a disclaimer. Just remind everybody about the risks involved in this market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. All right, guys. So like I was saying, I'm trying to remember, I first took I guess my first Forex trade I took over 10 years ago. I was a senior in high school. I'm 28 now. And that was the first time I ever took a Forex trade, and I got set up with the platform. I got an account set up. And yeah, to be honest, I was pretty nervous. I was thinking, okay, hey, if I take this trade, I'm going to mess up. Or, those are my initial reactions. Or, hey, there's all these little buttons on here. What do I do? Right. And I actually, real quick side story that I think you guys will really like and maybe even relate to. When I was first trading, I didn't know that you could actually short the market. I didn't know what shorting was. I didn't know that you could sell. I thought you could only make money if the market goes up. I used to watch people and they'd be like, oh, the market's down right now. And I would think, oh gosh, good thing I'm not in the stock market, or good thing I'm not a trader, because that'd be terrible to be in the markets when the markets are down. Um, but no, you can actually make a lot of money when the markets are going down too, which is really, really nice. In fact, I have some friends that only go short. They only look for short opportunities. Not everybody, as you guys know, we don't care. We're just looking for opportunity. If the opportunity happens to be short, we'll go short. If the opportunity exists to go long, we'll go long. So just that's kind of how we trade, is just wherever there's opportunity, right? Um, which is really, really cool. But I bring up this story because the first time I took a trade, obviously I bought because I thought that was the only thing that you could do. And then I wanted to close this trade at some point, like a day later, I wanted to close the trade, and I hit the sell button, and my long position or my buy position didn't even close. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is going on here? I hit sell and it wouldn't close. And it looked like on my screen, I saw on my orders tab, it said that I had the sell order. And I was like, what is this? Like, and then I'd hit the sell button again. And then I hit the sell button again, and it just added another order. I'm like, okay, I gotta stop. There's something wrong here. I don't know what's going on. Um, and I ended up just having like a hedge, basically. I had a long position and several sell orders at that point. And then I learned that that's an actual thing, and it kind of blew my mind. And as an 18-year-old, I started to see opportunity, Like I saw a lot of opportunity because I realized that you can make money whether the market's up or down. You know, it's sad to see a bank like Silicon Valley Bank go under in less than 48 hours or 72 hours, right? But there's also a lot of people that made a lot of money off of that, right? The people who were smart enough to go short when that Moody's announcement came out 2 weeks ago, saw an opportunity, saw a failing bank, and they said, hey, this might be a good short opportunity. And they probably made a lot of money off of that, right? Right. So we're just opportunity seekers when we're trading. We're seeking opportunity, and what's cool is it doesn't matter where that opportunity is, whether it's to the upside or the downside, we can take advantage of it. Anyway, that's my side story. Thought you thought maybe you could relate with it, because that's what happened to me when I started trading the markets. I didn't know that you could go long and short, or long or short, which is kind of cool. But I want to help you guys work on your workspaces here and your templates and how to set everything up. So here's kind of how I have everything set up, and here's how I trade. So when I'm on TradingView is kind of where I do a lot of analysis. So you guys will often see me do my chart analysis on here, and it's just a website that you can go to, tradingview.com. And when you're here, you can set up a watch list, you can set up your charts. I believe, and I think most people would agree with me on this, that TradingView is probably the most intuitive and the greatest trading platform that is available, right? So it's the best. Now you can trade on here, but you'd have to connect your broker, which you can totally do. I don't have my broker connected to this. I used to, but now I don't do a lot of trading with that other broker. So as you guys know, I do most of my trading with the prop firms that I'm funded with. So I'm funded with FTMO, my Forex funds, and I also have a smaller funded account with a company called the Apiary Fund, which I also, trade there too. So, I've got several funded accounts that I'm managing, and unfortunately, those funded accounts don't connect, or at least maybe FTMO does, but they don't connect to TradingView. But I like to do my analysis here, and then I'll go take my trades on the other platforms. So I thought I'd show you guys. How to set up your charts on both MT4 and on TradingView. Just because that's kind of how my process is over here on TradingView on this screen. I'll do my analysis, I'll run everything I need to run, and then I'll jump over to MT4 where my funded account is, and then I'll go ahead and place the trade. So I'll go ahead and show you how to do both of those. And as you guys have questions, put those questions in the chat box. I may not get to them the moment you put the question out there, but go ahead and put the question in there. Also, for those of you watching this in the recording, feel free to either email me, or if you're watching this on YouTube, feel free to comment in the section below, in the comment section, just with your questions, and I can respond to whatever questions those are. Okay. All right, guys. So on TradingView, I really like the dark background, but not everybody likes this. So when I'm on here, I have my charts, just the first thing that kind of pops up. And actually, before I do that, if you go to TradingView, just tradingview.com, just a front page, this is what it looks like. Okay. So you might even be wondering, well, how do you get where Steve was? How do you even get to that point? Right. So this is what it's going to look like when you just come in here. It's being kind of slow. Give it a second. It's loading my watch list here. This is what it just looks like on the home page after you've logged into TradingView. Okay. And, they usually just have a market summary up here. You can switch between indices, stocks, crypto, Forex, futures, bonds, right? You've got a lot of different things that you can monitor and look at. Obviously, we do a lot of Forex trading. So I stay on Forex. That's kind of my bread and butter. That's where I've had most of my success. That's where I got funded, and that's where I stay funded. So Forex is definitely my bread and butter, right? But right now, just on a side note, the bond market is something I am monitoring quite a bit, just because of the interest rate environment that we're in. It was actually a terrible bond trade that I think started the Silicon Slope We can talk about that later if we have time, because that would actually be a fun topic to dive into, because I do know a little bit, not, I wouldn't say a lot, but I do have quite a bit of information about kind of some of the things that led up to that, not just what happened in the last couple of weeks, which we know about, but some of the things that they did even a year ago or 2 years ago, and then the subsequent macroeconomic variables that happened later that affected that company or that bank. And it's actually going to affect a few other banks too, and we can talk about that too. But anyway, it comes from the bond market, a lot of the stuff that's kind of originated that issue, and because of interest rates. But when you just click, you can move around between each one. I have a watch list up here. You can create your own watch list. I think if you just, let's see. Yeah, you can come up here and add a symbol. I just call this one oh yeah, you can click right here. I created one just called Forex. You can create a new list and you can add things to it. And if you hit this plus button, you can add a symbol to your watch list, which is kind of nice. I just have all the majors. All the majors are here, and there's 28 different currency pairs that I'm looking at, and they're all here, right? So I just trade the majors, okay? And then what I can do is I can click on any one that I want to trade. Let's say we wanted to take a look at the euro dollar. So I just click on that, and what's going to happen as soon as I click on it, it's going to pull up a profile of the euro dollar. Okay, now you're like, well, I can't trade on this. What do I do? You can pull up, I think it's super charts. You can click the super chart button, and boom, it's going to bring you to this page that I just showed you right here, right? So this is how I got to it, and this is where you can navigate and do everything you need to do. And then I can just click in the chart. I can just click and hold, and I can move this around however I want. I can manipulate it, move it, whatever. It's kind of nice. If I come over here and click and hold down here on the right side, I can expand this up. I can expand this down. I can minimize, maximize, kind of nice. Same thing down here on the y-axis. Or on the x-axis, excuse me, I can move this back. I move it forward, so I can see the candlesticks on a more granular focus, or I can move them in. Kind of nice, right? Okay. And then as far as tools go, your tools are going to be found here on the left side. Okay. You got a lot of tools you can look at. So if you click here, it'll have kind of an arrow. You got a lot of different drawing tools that you can use. I've actually favorited a few of them, like the rectangle and the circle. You'll see me use that a lot. So I favorited them, and now they show up right here. So I can just grab them whenever I need them. So I can just I can mark on my chart whenever I want. I can just grab these up here because I just have them favorited, and I can just do whatever I want with them, which is kind of nice. Okay. All right. And so you have a lot of tools, measuring tools right here. I use this one a lot. So if you wanted to see how big a move is, you can measure, like say the start of a move from right here all the way up to here, and just hold. It'll show you how many pips. You can see that's a 201 pip move. It's got 81 candlesticks involved. Even shows you the volume, which is kind of cool. It also shows you what that move was as a percentage of the currency. Super nice, right? Super nice stuff. Okay, a lot of people like to do this type of thing. I love to do this. You know, if I set up a trade, I'll say, okay, guys, I'm going to short right here, and I'm going to put a stop loss, a take profit here, and a stop loss right here. You know, that's what this tool is right here. It's this short position, long position. If you don't have it favorited, it'll be found right here. So you can just hit long, short. That is a super clean, nice tool to kind of record your trades. This tool box right here is where you can grab trend lines, arrows, rays, horizontal lines, horizontal ray, vertical lines. It's all here. Very nice stuff that you can grab. It's all over here on the left side. Now up at the top, first thing that's shown is the pair that you're looking or analyzing. So I've got the euro dollar here. If I wanted to switch to a different market entirely, I could type in the euro dollar, or let's say I wanted to look at like Bitcoin. So I'd say, in fact, it's just right there. I just do BTC USD, and I wanted to look at Bitcoin because I just wanted to. Here's Bitcoin today on a 1 hour chart. And then, if you wanted to look at Bitcoin from like a daily chart, we don't do a lot of Bitcoin trading, but it's fun to just take a look at, right? See where it's been trading at. Here's back when it was doing great in 2021 and 2022. It's all there. And you can obviously see it down here now, kind of consolidating, which I have a video coming out on Bitcoin this week. I know you guys have all been waiting for it. Everyone's been bugging me. When are you going to drop that Bitcoin 2024 video? When are you going to drop your Bitcoin video? I have it. It's coming. I've been editing a few things, but it's going to be a legit video. You guys remember, at least some of you remember, I made a Bitcoin video back in 2020, back when Bitcoin was at $7,000 a Bitcoin, and then it shot up. In the video, I said it's probably going to go between $60,000 and $70,000 on the next one. Boom, it went to 69,000 and came down. So it was pretty awesome. I'm not saying I know exactly where Bitcoin's going to go, but and then I think I told you guys this, and in the video I'm going to talk about this. This move right here is what bought my house. This move right here. So I took out a loan back in 2019 and 2020. I bought Bitcoin right here in this area back in May of 2020. So like right here actually. And then this is the move that helped me buy my house right here. So I'm looking to do another thing like that again, but anyway, you'll have to wait for me to make that video. That's in another video. So we'll talk about that later. Okay, so now you can change time frame up here. So you can click daily chart, you can click a 1 minute chart, right? You can change, and then you might have to zoom in and manipulate this again to get it to where you want to zoom into the chart to see everything, right? And that's a 1 minute chart. And then you've got over here, you've got bars, candles. So I like to use candlesticks, the way I view the charts. You can use bars instead. I don't like bars. You can have it represented as a line. You can use a line chart. I don't like lines though, because the candlesticks tell you a lot of information. And if you're omitting that information, I think it's a loss. So you might as well try to utilize what the market's trying to tell you. And the candlestick is a very helpful tool in reading the charts. So I prefer candles. Okay. But there's also Renko charts and Heikin-Ashi. I do not like Heikin-Ashi. I used to think they were pretty cool, but or is it the Renko? I can't. Oh yeah, oh yeah, I do not like Renko. Plus it wants me to upgrade. Renko charts are, in my opinion, a form of gambling. Basically, they ignore the candlestick basically, and they just kind of say, okay, what people do is if the candle is green, they buy. If the current candle's red, they sell. I mean, some people say it works. I just don't like Renko charts. Okay, or yeah, Renko. So I just like candlesticks, right? Just use candlesticks. All right. Then you got indicators. Now, this is the coolest part of TradingView, in my opinion. Okay, so the reason why this is here is because people everywhere around the world are allowed to make indicators on this platform. So you could make an indicator if you wanted to, and you could house it on TradingView for free, and people can use your content. You can actually sell it too. If you felt like your indicator was worth selling and you didn't want to give it away for free, you could actually make money by selling your indicator on TradingView. I don't have any indicators on TradingView that I haven't created, but as you guys know, I have found some pretty cool stuff on here that I often bring up in the webinars. You guys know I like Sonar Lab. That's a creator that I really like. And then you guys also know my favorite indicator is their order blocks. So if you search Sonar Lab dash order blocks, this is order blocks with signals. This is my favorite indicator because it tells you where supply and demand is, right? And we do a lot of supply and demand trading. Oh, which I already have it on here. So you can delete that. Oh, and that's another thing. Once you pull up an indicator, you can hide the indicator or unhide it right here. Let's say you wanted to use like a very basic indicator, just say like an RSI, right? Relative Strength Index. You just search for it, you click on it, and then here it is, right? And then you can change the settings of the RSI by just simply, I think, let's see, does that do it? No, that just moves it around. That moves it up, that moves it down. Let's see. There's a way to manipulate this. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so right here where it says RSI, you can see the settings. You can change the settings of your RSI or whatever indicator it is. Now, I just typically use the default, but that's if you wanted to use an RSI indicator or whatever indicator. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. I don't need it. And yeah, that's kind of it. You can even set an alert. You can actually right click on the chart. Let's say we wanted to be alerted. Actually, where would I be curious? I would actually like to know if Bitcoin got to here. So like, let's say if it got back to about 30,000, I can right click on my chart and I can say add alert, and it will tell me, okay, you can say when Bitcoin crosses this value, actually, let's just say when it gets to $30,000, you can call it 30K BTC or whatever. And then you can hit create. And it'll notify you, like if Bitcoin ever gets to that price. And if you have the TradingView application, it'll actually, like on your phone, you can get an alert on your phone, not just on your computer, which is kind of nice. And you just want to sync it up because I'm logged in with Facebook on TradingView, and I'm also logged in with Facebook on TradingView on my phone, which is kind of nice. All right. Okay, cool. So I think that's basically everything that I wanted to discuss on TradingView, other than if you wanted to change your charts up, you can right click on your chart and you can hit settings, and I can change my background to whatever color I want. Let's say I want a white background instead. Oh, that's interesting. I guess it's got a gradient to it. I can go solid white. Let's go solid white. There you go. And now all of a sudden I got a white background. So I can change that there. If I want to go back to black, which I do, I'm going to leave it there. You can have vertical lines or grid lines, except I took off my grid lines because I don't like grid lines. But if you like the grid lines in the middle of your chart, you can go ahead and add them. I think I need to change their color though. Okay. Anyway, there's a lot of other stuff. Like this is just the appearance. Now you can change, for example, the candlesticks, right? So I've got all my candlesticks that are, I got red and green candles. I'm trying to see if I can just pick, okay, body is green, border is green, wick is green. Yeah, so I guess these ones are the long ones or the bullish ones. These are bearish candles right here when they're red, but you can change these up. Like I can go blue instead. I'm just curious if it does this. Oh yeah, here it goes. Everything's changing to blue. Yeah, now I got blue blue bearish candlesticks. Oh man, that's ugly. I don't want that. Well, blue candlesticks are great as long as the other, I feel like if you'd probably want, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, I feel like red is just the most obvious thing to have in my opinion, because red is associated with down or a loss or something like that, and green is associated with something up. So it's just easier for me to read if I just put red and green on here. Okay. But that's TradingView in a nutshell. And if you guys have questions about it, let me know. There's so many other things you can do here, but this should get you started. If you want to connect a bank, if you want to connect a broker, so if you want to trade, like let's say you have an account with Awanda or Forex.com, Interactive Brokers, which are some of the big ones. It looks like I didn't know Ally trades Forex. I'd be curious, or maybe not Forex, but I know a lot of people with Ally online banking. Who else? There's other brokers too that aren't even on here. But these are the two most common in the United States, I think, for Forex, Awanda or Forex.com. So you could connect your account with them. And so you could literally just trade your trading account. You could connect Awanda or Forex.com to TradingView, and you could do that if you wanted. And that's just going to be on the trading panel down here. Now, how do I move this back down? I moved it up. Gotta move this. Oh wait, there it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm gonna move this back down. Nice. Okay, cool. Now I want to show you guys MT4 because MT4 is where I do a lot of trading. Okay, but I don't do a lot of chart analysis over here. So let me help you set up a workspace because this is where you're going to be doing your trading oftentimes with this kind of the standard. MT4 is kind of, how do I say it? The standard of MT4 is it's been around the longest, been around way before TradingView, and people continue to use it today. And this is where you're going to do a lot of, if you're interested in like robotic trading and using algorithms to trade, you're going to either use MT4 or MT5. It's also the standard around the world still. MT4 and MT5 are. So, you know, you could be using MT4 here in the United States, and somebody else is going to be using MT4 in Africa or in England or Singapore. They're going to have MT4 or MT5. Okay. And yeah, FTMO uses it. One of the reasons why these companies use it, because I've actually looked into this at some point, it's in my long-term business plan to build my own like actual prop firm as well. Like I want to do that. I want to give people money to trade where you pass challenges with me. Like that is in my long-term plan too. I want to be my own FTMO, but it's my own brand. So that is in my long-term plan. And I actually know people who have been able to connect broker. I actually have several connections to people who have been able to connect their broker, their liquidity provider, to MT4 that's associated with their LLC or their business only, which is really, really cool. So it's actually not incredibly difficult to set up your own firm doing this. From what I've been able to discover, like that's something I totally want to do. I know people here in the United States who have done it, and I know of people in Nigeria who have done it. Like it's people around the world can use MT4. You just have to get licensing, and then you have to connect a liquidity provider and a few other things, and boom, you're basically a firm, like an actual trading brokerage, which is kind of cool. So that's why I'm saying a lot of people use MT4 still because it's actually not too hard to get connected to. It's pretty simple. As long as you have MT4 and licensing privileges, you can get it set up pretty much anywhere. Okay, so when you're in here, your chart is gonna, in fact, the first time you ever pull up MT4, you're gonna have a very ugly chart. It's gonna be this black chart with grid lines, and it's gonna be bar candlesticks that are green. It's gonna be the ugliest thing you've ever seen, right? That's what your chart's gonna look like. Maybe you pull up MT4 for the first time and you don't even have a chart pulled up. So here's how you pull up a chart in MT4. Once you're to this point, which by the way, actually before you're even at this point, you're gonna have to log in, right? So how do you log into MT4? Well, it depends on whose MT4 you're using, right? This one's FTMO's MT4. If you want to use like you know, if you're trading with My Forex Funds or you're trading with Awanda's MT4, you're gonna have to download MT4 different times for the different ones. You can't just log into MT4 and then expect to be able to get into Awanda and FTMO in the same place. It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. That's why I was saying MT4 is a platform that anybody can use, but it is specific. Once you have licensing privileges, it is specific to the firm to which you downloaded that MT4 platform, right? So I have MT4 on my computer like 5 different times because I have 5 different places that I trade MT4 with, right? So you got to kind of pay attention to that. So when you're in here, if you pull up the navigator, which is this button right here, you're just going to pull this up. You can move it around. It'll have the different servers that you can log into. I'm not going to show you that because I don't want you guys to see my logins, but that is kind of how you log in initially. You can also double click right down here on the very, very, very bottom bottom right. If you double click this, it should pull up a login. So you can log into whatever account you have with MT4. So that's another way to do it. You can just double click that, okay? All right, so once you're to this point, you got to get a watch list, you got to get a chart, you got to save a template. We'll do all that right now. So once you're to this point on here, if you go up to File and hit New Chart, it's the very first thing on the drop down. Hit New Chart. You can pick any currency pair you want. Just pick a random one. And this is the chart I was talking about. This is the ugliest default. I don't know why they have this as the default. It's on every MT4 platform. This is the ugliest chart you'll ever see. All right. So let's actually break this chart down. Let's dissect it. Let's go ahead and make this chart look pretty. Okay. So this is what everyone's chart's going to look like. Let's go ahead and do this. So what you're going to do is you're going to right click on the chart anywhere, and you're going to click on properties, which is the very bottom item in the watch list. Click on properties. Then what you're going to do is well, first of all, look at all your options here, right? Here's your background, foreground, grid, everything's in here, okay? Let's say you're like me when I trade on MT4, I like the white background. So I'm going to click white, okay? And then if I actually just click OK, this is what it's going to do. It's still, everything's still ugly, but at least I have a white background. So I'm going to right click again, go back to properties. And then the foreground is kind of like, you might actually want to change that one to black, because the foreground is where you see these numbers right on the side and the dates at the bottom. And if you don't have a foreground, you're going to be kind of, disoriented. You're not going to really know where you're looking at things and stuff like that. So you're going to want to have a foreground. And usually I like it to be the counterpart of whatever my background is. So if my background is white, I want the foreground to be black. If my background is black, I want my foreground to be white, right? So just the counterpart of whatever you're doing. So I'll do black. And then for my grid, I do not like grids at all. I hate grids. So what I do is I just make the grid the same color as my background, which is white, and that will remove the grid. So if I click OK now, a couple of things will happen. Now I just have a white background. I have a foreground, which is now the counterpart of my background. So I've got black, and I remove my grid because the grid is the same color as the background, right? But I still have some other problems, right? My candlesticks are hardly visible, and I have no idea what's going on here. So I need to right click again. I hit properties, and I'm back here. And now you can mess around with the candlesticks. Now I will tell you, this usually takes a lot more troubleshooting. You're probably going to want to play around with the candlesticks a lot to kind of get exactly what you're looking for, because there's a ton of options here. But let's go ahead and work on one together. So like bar up, which is the same thing as a bull candle. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and click on this. And I told you guys I like the green. It's currently set to lime green. We could change this to something else, maybe not so in your face. Maybe we could change it to another color, like here's just regular green here at the top. It's about in the middle at the very top. I'm just gonna click on that, just green. Bar down, let's change to red. I like red for bars that are down. Bull candle, this will be the body of the candle. Let's go ahead and go back to green. And then for the bear candle, let's also go red. And then I think that gives me what I want. So there we go. So now these are candlesticks that are lined up a little bit better. Now there's a button up here that says zoom in and zoom out. I can't really see anything, so I would like to zoom in. So if I zoom in, you can see this. Oh, these aren't even candlesticks. So here's what I'm going to show you. Notice how these are bars. These are called bars. They're not candlesticks. Okay. If you want candlesticks, what you're going to do is you're going to come up here, follow my mouse up here. There's a button right here that says candlesticks. Click on that. Boom. Now I got candlesticks, right? Pretty sweet. If you go click this button and you like the bar charts, which I have no idea why you'd like them, but if you do, no offense, but it's up to you. You do you, man. Click on the bar chart. You can go back to bars if you like bars, but I love candles. Candles, fill in your charts. And candles, in my opinion, do give you an edge. Out of any other way to view your charts, they just give you an edge. And then there's also line, so you can do line, and then you're back to this ugly thing right here. So just go back to candles, right? And now we actually have a pretty good looking chart. So I can zoom in like this. I can click down here and zoom in or zoom out, right? Kind of nice. And if you don't want to do that, you can just click this button up here, zoom in. You can zoom in pretty tight, or you can zoom out like that. Now we have a pretty good looking chart. That is pretty dang good looking, okay? So if you like the chart that you have, which I do, you're gonna wanna right click again. And now what you're gonna do is you're gonna say save template, or you're gonna go to template and you're gonna save this template, okay? You're gonna hit save, and then we're gonna wanna call it something. We'll just call it green red or something like that. I don't know, red green, because I love the show red green. Red green. Yeah, we'll call it red green. That almost looks exactly like their colors too, so that's perfect. So we'll call it red green, and you'll hit save. Okay, so if you ever pull up your chart again, or if you ever pull up MT4 again and that's not available, then you're going to just right click and you're going to hit load template, or go to template, load template, and you can pick the one that you want. I have other templates here, like I use this one called black chart, so I'll just use this one. Here's a black chart, right? If I don't want the black chart template, I can change this. I can go back to templates, right click, load template, and the one that I have that I just made with you guys is called red green, and I go back to that. There we go. All right. Okay, so that's the basics of the chart. Okay, and we just took a very, very ugly chart and we made it look pretty, and super usable, super visible. And you could do this, you could, if you wanted to, just for fun. I don't even know if I've done this, but you could change this to, I don't know, if you wanted pink candlesticks. In fact, I'm just going to do it for fun. Like you could change this to a magenta, or oh, there's pink right there. I'm just going to go pink and bear candle. I'm going to go pink. There you go. There's your pink candlesticks down, right? You know, just you can play around with this and have a lot of fun with whatever you're doing. Just give it a vibe, right? Give it a vibe. So there you go. Okay. Now what we want to do is, I won't save that because I do want it to stay at red green. So if I exited MT4 and came back in, this wouldn't save because I didn't save it. All right, guys. So now this is the biggest thing that I ran into with MT4, that I was like, how in the world do you use this? Because I can't figure, it's not very intuitive to change the currency pair. Have you guys noticed that? It's super hard. Like I was like, what do I have to load a new chart for every currency pair every single time? Do I have to hit this and find the currency pair that I want every single time? No, you don't have to do that, guys. In fact, here's what you do, and it's so simple, and I don't know, it seems easier on TradingView, but what you got to do is you got to have a watch list, okay? And right now you can see I'm on the Aussie CAD. If I want to look at the euro dollar, I just click on the euro dollar over here on my watch list, and I click and I drag and drop in the chart. Boom. And now I'm looking at the euro dollar. That's how you do it. I hope that helped solve a problem to a lot of you guys, because for the longest time, I couldn't figure out how to change from one pair to another pair. And that's how you do it really quickly and easily, is you just click on one currency pair over here. If you wanted to switch to the pound dollar, you just click on the pound dollar, drag and drop it in the chart, boom. And there's, in fact, I have a pending trade on right now, right there. And you just drop it in, which is kind of cool. Okay. All right. So, and how do you even make a watch list? How do you get a watch list? So right here, if I actually move this out, I get rid of this. What I do is I click, I've come up here and I click on Market Watch. So I'm going to click this right here, boom. And I already have one pulled up. You may or may not have stuff in here. So what do? Once you have your watch list pulled up, right click in the white area down here and hit symbols, okay? So I'm going to do that again. So what you do is, in case you missed it, you come, once you have the watch list pulled up, right click in kind of the white area down below, hit symbols. Okay, now you got this. And I like to expand out just to make this a little bit bigger so everybody can see it. All right. And ask questions, guys. If you want me to answer something that you're specific about or you're curious about figuring out, ask those questions and I can help you do that. All right. So these are already pulled up. So you can see here, actually, if I click on this $ next to Aussie CAD or double click it, it'll remove it. Now I don't want to do that because I do like to trade the Aussie CAD on occasion. So I'm going to double click it, make sure it's on there. So these are all the ones that are visible. Now, there are other things that I can trade on FTMO here. Every broker is different, but they have exotic currencies. I don't trade exotics. So right now, here's the euro versus the Hungarian forint, euro versus Czech Republic, Corona or Coruna. I don't know how to say that. You can do dollar versus Mexican peso. You could do that one. These are all available on FTMO to trade. I have never, ever, ever taken a trade against the Mexican dollar or Mexican peso, but it could be fun. You know, maybe someday I will. I just haven't really found an opportunity yet, and I feel like the spreads are pretty high on exotics, and I'm doing pretty dang well with just the regular Forex pairs, so I don't feel like I need these. But if I wanted to, I could pull them up. And then I can minimize that, and I can look at some of these others. You got futures, right? So you can pull up futures, CFDs, right? You've got, let's see, cash CFDs. Here's the US 100, US 30, right? You've got cryptos, right? You can trade Cardano against the dollar, Bitcoin against the dollar, Dogecoin against the dollar. You know, if you want to trade those, you can. I'm not messing with those though. I just buy Bitcoin and hold, as you guys know. That's kind of my style with Bitcoin. I don't do anything else with Bitcoin. You got precious metals, right? You can click on that. You can trade. This XAG is silver, right? If you're familiar with the periodic table, AG is the code or lookup, whatever you want to call it, for the periodic table for silver AG. You've got AU, which is going to be gold, right? And then you can see when we're trading gold or silver, you're going to trade gold or silver against another currency. So you got gold against the Aussie, or silver against the Aussie, silver against euro. Here's silver against dollar, gold against dollar, gold against euro, gold against dollar, palladium against US dollar, platinum versus US dollar. So many options, guys. So many. You can get lost, honestly. You don't need to do all this, in my opinion. I'll show you guys how to pass challenges with just Forex. But if you want to, you can mess around with some of these others. You got equities as well. You even got, wow, they really have a lot in here. This is great for people who don't have access to our stock market in the United States. You know, if you live in London and you're not, you know, if you go try to open up an account, let's say with TD Ameritrade, and you live in London or you live in South Africa, but you still want to, you know, if you live in South Africa or, you know, wherever, and you want to trade the US stock market, this is a great option to get into FTMO. You can trade some of our big name stocks here in the United States through these CFDs, right? And then you got other equities here. These are international equities. You got Deutsche Bank, Air France, Volkswagen. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. So you can put in anything you want. Now, like I said, I only look at Forex, so I'm only going to pull that up. And I've just got my Forex profile or watch list ready to go here. Curtis, I got your question here. I saw it come up here on Facebook. Looks like you're asking, what is a TradingView indicator that you like? I like this. If we go back to TradingView, the indicator is called Sonar Lab space dash space order blocks with signals. So if you come over here and search Sonar Lab space order blocks, here it is. You can click on it. It's free. There's 5,400 people using this indicator. So there's obviously a lot of interest in this indicator. It's free, which is kind of nice. And then when you pull it up, it looks like this. So it just shows you where supply and demand, institutional supply and demand zones are. And it's a nice little helpful tool to find where the market's trending and honestly where the market's likely to reverse. So if I'm looking at Bitcoin here, say on a 15-minute chart, I guess, you know, you can see all the different demand areas. If I'm looking at the euro, let's actually pull up the euro dollar. You can see, yeah, so you're coming up into a lot of supply, which is why the market's struggling to go above that. You got demand in these areas, which is kind of cool. So, and I on occasion I'll use that, right? It's pretty nice. All right, guys. And so any other questions on MT4? A couple of other things that I could show you on here. Obviously you got your terminal down here. The terminal, by the way, is if you ever lose it and it looks like this, up here is the terminal, this little button right here. So you click on that and your terminal comes back. So you can see all your trades, you can see your account history. So these are all the trades that I've taken. You can see all the trades that I've won, all the trades that I've lost right here. You can see all the open orders that I have open, which I don't have any open. I just have a pending order, right? You can see my, oh, what's cool down here is the market. I don't know if you've ever used the market, but the market's a fun place because you can come here and you can search for indicators. You can search for experts. For those of you that are new, experts are expert advisors. And these are trading algorithms or trading robots that will trade for you. So you can purchase one of these robots and it will actually trade for you, which is pretty cool. There is a robot that I've been testing. It's this most wanted robot. I'm not so sure about it yet because it's pretty new, but it's $2,000. It used to be $500. They've increased it to 2,000 because I think it's been doing pretty well. This is the other one that I've been wanting to buy. It's called the Bonita. It's now almost $6,000, but it's been around for a couple of years, which is why it's so expensive, because it works. And there's actually trading, just on a side note, there's actually, you can go to MyFX book and there's actual live accounts that are using this robot that you can track. So you can see the performance of how this robot is going. So I've actually considered about, you know, biting the bullet and actually buying this one. I haven't done it quite yet because I'm still looking at some other robots. But this one's actually pretty cool and it has had some pretty positive results on live accounts, and you can check those live accounts out on MyFX book. Like if you just do a quick Google search and search, you know, the Bonita robot or Bonita EA Forex on MyFX book, you'll find the results, which is pretty cool. It also has some pretty good reviews right here. But yeah, anyway, there's also free robots too that you can test out. Most of the free robots I've ever used are pretty garbage because there's just a lot of robots that just don't work, unfortunately. You know, they have cool ideas, but when the market comes to test them, ultimately they end up losing, right? So there's cool robots here. And how do you use a Forex robot? Just real quick, if you're curious about testing out robots, just because it's something that you want to do, I actually have some robots in here right now. If you pull up the navigator is where you manage a lot of stuff, including indicators, your account, where it says expert advisors. This is where the robots are. These are a couple of robots that I have downloaded. I actually had a guy make a robot for me that's in here. These are robots I've downloaded from the from the internet. So here's the Bonita. This is a free version of the Bonita. There is the most wanted one I was telling you about. And you can actually, basically, I just drag the robot, drop it into my chart, and then I can change the settings. Yeah, for example, in fact, I think I can just click this. Oh no, it won't let me because I have to buy it. You can see I have to buy it for $2,000, but I can test it out, which is kind of cool. Anyway, that's a whole nother subject for another time. Just letting you know that if you're interested in trading algorithms and having a robot trade for you, there are places that do this. And I think I also told you guys this is another one of my business plans is to eventually kind of settle into a couple of robots that can trade for me on the side. Found a couple, but again, if you're looking for quality, it comes at a cost. Like really good trading robots do cost a lot of money. So, all right, guys. So that's pretty much MT4 in a nutshell, and that's kind of how you use it. Now, how do you take trades in here? There's a one-click order button up here on the top left. You can change your lot size in there, and then you can hit buy or sell. I'm not going to because I don't want to execute a trade right now. But that's one way to do it. You can right-click and you can trade by right-clicking and clicking on one of these. You can click new order, and that's going to pull up this window, and you can change the symbol, the amount, how big your position is going to be. You can change your stop loss, your take profit. Is it a pending order? And you can put in the type of pending order that it is. All of that's in here too. So once you guys get a hang of this, guys, trading is going to be easy. And now it's just off to learning my strategies and taking my signals. And you guys can take the signals that I post in Telegram and you can just plug and play and put them into MT4, or if you're trading on TradingView, you can plug them in over here. So rather just keep paying me and trusting me. I appreciate that, Roger. Yeah, I really do. Yeah, and we have some really cool stuff going on. We really do. Obviously last week was a huge winning week. In fact, I'll show you, just because you guys are here for the last few minutes. As you guys know, I don't send out signals on Sunday nights. It's just a personal thing, but expect signals Monday night, expect signals Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights, right? Like I'm going to send out a lot of trades in the evenings, as we've been doing, and it's my plan to continue to do that. Those have been our best trades, right? Let me show you a trade I took last night. It's this one right here. This is where I made a lot of money on this one. This one, you can see my order history. This trade ended up making $4,000 on that trade last night. And then I took another trade on the Aussie franc that ended up making about 2,200. Yeah, it's been good. I've had some good trades on this account recently that have done well. Let me go ahead and show you the analysis behind this trade. Otherwise, I would have sent this trade out to you guys. It's just I just don't send out trades on Sunday night, and I could have sent it out late last night or early Monday morning, but I would have woken you guys all up with a text message, and I don't want to do that. But this is the trade. So the Aussie Kiwi had a really nice setup. So what's the steps for those of you that are here or watching the recording? Let me just give you a little bonus thing before we wrap up here. What are the steps that we do when we're looking for trades? First thing I do is I go to sentiment, right? And this is where I cut out and my power went out this morning. So you go to sentiment, right? And you're looking for huge biases, right? You're looking for, okay, Aussie franc super biased, NZD CAD down here is super biased. What this is telling you is that the average trader is super long or the average trader is super short, which means that at some point these traders are going to have to exit their position, which is going to cause the market to continue to go against these traders. So for example, with the Aussie franc, if 98% of traders are buyers, okay, at some point, 98% of these people are going to have to close their position. Okay, so they're going to have to sell. Okay, So in order for them to sell, somebody else has to be willing to buy and take their trade from them, right? So if somebody's going to take the trade from them, you have to attract more sellers. Or excuse me, if somebody's buyer, yes, somebody's a buyer, and they want to sell, they have to attract new buyers so that they can close their sell position. And the only way that's going to happen is if basically the market can continue even lower. There's going to be a flood of supply that enters the market because if all of these guys are going to sell, that's going to have to send the market even lower, right? Because all of these people have tried to buy, but they're not doing very well. So they're going to have to close out their position. So looking at this, you see the Aussie Franc is an option. You'll see the Aussie Kiwi right here, 90% are long, 10% are short. So I looked at this last night and then I came over to the chart and I saw that there was a nice little structure point right here. So if I this is where the market was last night. This is where the market was. And if I zoom in, you can kind of see the structure I'm talking about. So this is structure right here. Structure, you can see the market hits this as resistance. This hits it as support. Kind of touches it right here as support. Becomes support again. You know, it's definitely a structure point. And then I was looking at this and I was like, okay, well, what caused this market to break out? Like, who is the culprit? What's the mechanism that created the breakout? And I said, okay, well, it looks like whatever consolidation took place in here is really what kind of led to the market's demise and led the market even lower. So I said, okay, that's it right there. So I'm going to go ahead and extend this to the right. Extend right. And that is a supply zone. That's where supply is going to be. So if the market ever returns to that area, what's going to happen, Roger? Or Curtis, maybe you've seen some of my classes, I don't know. But Roger, what do you think is going to happen if the market comes to that area right there? Everything's going down, right? Yep, it's going to trigger down. So let's see. No, so here we go, here we go, here we go. Market triggers in and then boom, it's gone. Completely gone, right? So that's the trade I took last night. And that's precisely what this trade is, right? That's precisely what this trade is right here. This one that made $4 grand on the Aussie Kiwi short. That's what this trade is, right? So anyway, like I said, I would have posted that one to you guys too, as long as it wasn't Sunday. But again, I just don't do that. So, but I will get more trades out like that tonight. Yep, pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Anyway, and then I took another one. You know, I did this Aussie Franc one. It was basically the same trade. I was able to fortunately grab a sell up in here. It did okay, not as good as the other one, but sure it did okay. This is another one that I've been looking at. This one actually stunk. I barely got stopped out on this one. I got stopped out right there. Otherwise, I would have been great. I think I know what I did wrong on this one though, but anyway, like there's a nice demand area right here, as you can see, nice demand area. And I think that demand area honestly extended into some of this stuff right here too. And so this would have been the best area to buy at, is anything inside that purple zone. And I didn't have it quite big enough, but that was a good one from last night. All right, we'll get some more out tonight, guys, but I appreciate your attendance. Thank you for being patient with me. And again, Curtis, welcome. And just also for those of you, real quick thing, for those of you watching this on YouTube, if you are interested in taking my signals, taking these trades that help us pass these FTMO challenges and help people get funded and be profitable, if you're interested in these concepts, there is a link in the description below where you can sign up for a 14-day free trial to give this a shot. There's also a link to my free signals channel. So if you're interested in on getting an occasional signal, you can click on that and that will give you an opportunity to take some of my trades. So anyway, guys, thanks so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of your day and we'll see you in the next webinar.